Okay.
Hey, can you see me? Hey,
I see you
is it bright
perfectly.
enough? Okay, good. Good. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. And like I was telling him just right now that I completely goofed the meeting, the time, so the day I misread it. So I panicked when nothing was working. I was like, what's going on?
It's okay. We're all here. We're having a great time. And it's my pleasure to meet you this afternoon. I'm
Well,
going
it's
to
my
ask
pleasure
you
to meet you.
I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and then
Sure.
tell us the name of your script and the name of your short film.
Okay. Well, my name is Kieran Shea, and the short film is called Borderline, and the script is called A New Leaf. And just so you know, I actually have a co-writer director for the short film, who is David Osorio. Now he is currently in Los Angeles. I live in LA, but I'm
Uh-huh.
helping my folks in the Bay Area. So unfortunately, he is not able to be here with me. But there are two folks.
Okay.
I don't want
All
to
right.
hog all the credit for anything. So.
That's I think that's great. It's always nice to have someone to kind of bounce ideas off of.
Yeah,
I am going to say some. I'm going to assume that he helped you with
he
borderline,
did.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, because his last name sounds kind of Hispanic,
Yeah, and believe
and
it or not, I'm Hispanic as well.
I think that's wonderful.
I'm half Paraguayan, lived in South America for a number of years. I speak fluent Spanish, and part of what we wanted to do was to try to, give voice to more Latino actors and Latino stories. So that was part of the reason for that.
Absolutely, and it's a kind of a hot topic right now.
I know,
You know,
yeah.
so I think it's an appropriate time to
Yeah.
have a movie called Borderline. Um, so I mean, you just said that you wanted to give Latinos, people of color, a voice.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you accomplished that? I feel like you accomplished that.
We
Time.
we do, but we actually have a bit of a grander ambition with this because when we did this, we shot it as sort of a proof of concept for a feature.
Mm-hmm.
And because this film we actually shot in 2014, like it's been a
Cool.
while.
Yeah.
And then COVID, like we were getting things together in order to prep. We have a feature script, which it was a feature script prior to the short. But we got some help to shoot it, and we were prepping things in order to go get funding and things for the
Mm-hmm.
feature. And then COVID hit,
Yeah.
so everything just
Shut
went
down.
kind of shut down. So now we're back in the prep stage. We have most of our locations and everything, but we're getting ready to do funding, like a funding drive, and I have to go speak to a couple of folks that perhaps have some cash. We'll
Uh-huh.
see. But anyway, so the idea was to shoot it as a feature, and we did the short as sort of a taste of what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so yeah, so in terms of the Latino cast, like about I would say about 95 to 98% of the cast would probably be Hispanic. Uh,
Okay.
Only like a couple of people here and there would not fall under that category.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and the story, as you said, it was originally inspired, sadly, by a real event, which now
Yeah.
we've been reading happens all too often, which is my writing partner found a news article many years ago where it's somewhere in Texas, they found a truck that was abandoned on the side of the road, and they opened it and they found that about it was full of people, and about half of the people unfortunately had died.
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
yeah, and what had happened was the coyote, the guy driving,
Mm-hmm.
what they figured happened is that he got spooked and thought that somebody was onto him, the border patrol.
Mm-hmm.
So he just
Yeah.
stopped the truck and ran and didn't bother to open the back of the
Yeah.
truck. And so that sort of stuck with him. And we didn't want to do that story exactly because we felt that it might be a little morbid and taking a
It's
little bit
dark.
of advantage of those folks. So we decided to do it more as a ghost story. and take some of that more entertainment side, because whenever you do like a message movie, if it's disguised as entertainment, it
Mhm.
kind of goes down a little better. So we decided to do that, and essentially use what's going on, as you said, now as sort of a backdrop to, a supernatural thriller type
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed it,
Oh, well, I'm
And
glad.
what's interesting is that it's still so relevant, and that's kind of sad. You know,
Unfortunately, yeah, you're right.
yeah, it is kind of sad. So do you want to talk about what it was like casting
Oh,
um, a Latino
sure.
cast, or
Yeah.
mostly?
Well, the person that we had the most difficulty casting was Manny, who was our main guy.
Hmm.
I at the time I was taking some acting classes, and the driver was a classmate of mine,
Uh-huh.
Carlos Bosch. He is Puerto Rican,
Uh-huh.
really good guy, and so he worked out well. Uh, the bad guy, Brock. He is an old friend of mine who I've killed in basically every movie that I've had him in. Uh,
Okay.
so we brought him specifically in. He lives in Phoenix, so he's
Really?
right around the
Okay.
corner there.
All right.
So he came in, and he was our bad guy. And then, ironically, the guy playing Manny, Alex Quijano, he had also been in the same classes that I was taking with the same teacher, and a
Uh-huh.
mutual friend introduced us to him, and he wanted to do it, so he did it. And then the girl Alma, who plays the ghost, Alma, is a friend of mine, Sally Marcet.
Hmm.
She is actually Turkish. Uh, she's German Turkish. But we had a hell of a time finding, in the time that we had, a Hispanic girl to play the role. And because of her, she has that kind of a look where you don't entirely know where she's from.
Yes.
Um,
Like you.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Uh,
you.
and her pronunciation was fantastic with the
Uh-huh.
Spanish. So we asked her to do it, and she graciously did it. And the
Yeah.
little girl is Lorianne Hernandez, who is now working at, like, she's about 18 now. So
Hmm.
she's working on Disney shows. She's the most successful of everyone. She's like, where she was on America's Got Talent, like
Uh-huh.
as a 10 or 11-year old, like,
Uh-huh.
sorry, like a 12-year-old comedian, and
Uh-huh.
she is fantastic. So she played the little girl. um but yeah, so it was a fun casting process, and then we pulled in a lot of favors to do it. Our producer
Yeah.
is Wolfram Parge, who is actually in England, and he's good friends with Phil Mayhew, who was our director of photography.
Hmm.
And Phil has a 50 plus year career. He's
Hmm.
shot like he shot two James Bond movies, including Casino Royale. So like he came, and I was surprised he just did it. He did it for
Yeah.
free. He got us all sorts of things that we needed, like, we got free gear from Panavision because of
Wow.
him.
Yeah.
Sony helped us with our color timing because of him.
Uh-huh.
So he brought some people on. I mean, so he was phenomenal. We had like a
Yeah.
great sort of experience all around. So
I love filmmakers in our community that
mhm.
will help. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean, that's such a wonderful feeling.
yeah. And
Um,
Phil is the fastest DP you've ever seen. He's a British guy. He's currently in London also, but he's an older gentleman. However, he's been doing it for so long, and he brought some of his guys on that they have like a shorthand. So he's
uh-huh.
like, "Yes, I would like this," and it's like 5 seconds later, it's done.
Yeah,
And
they know what
we
he's
had a
talking about.
I know we had a challenging location. We were out in the desert somewhere,
Hmm.
so it was our truck got stuck multiple times, and thanks to Phil, we were able to still film and use the stuck truck. So when you
Yeah.
see the truck stuck in the desert, it
Uh-huh.
is actually stuck
Stuck in the
right
desert.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're using it. You're using what's happening
pretty much. Yeah.
to be a part of your film. Now let's switch gears. Let's
Yes.
switch gears to the a new leaf script.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like we've sort of gone through all of these tropes of
Mhm.
monster tropes, right?
Yeah.
So why did you pick vampires?
Well, the reason well, let me just start with, I I wrote this script on a dare. My
Okay.
writing partner, this was in the middle of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
probably around, I don't know, like 2021-ish, somewhere around there, maybe 22.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking because it was the only thing that you could do at the time. And I
Yes.
get a phone call from David, who's my writing partner, and he sends me a link to a writing competition that
Mm-hmm.
if that prized, like, it was like 15 grand if you got it to shoot your short.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the deadline, and it was like a day and a half away, or 2 days. And I thought, this is not, I can't write something decent in like a day and a half and send it. And and in his way, he was like, well, I mean, maybe you want to try, whatever. I was like, there's no way. And then finally I thought, well, maybe I can. And I
Sure.
so as I'm walking, this idea just, I don't know why, I so this is a terrible answer for you, but I don't know why the whole idea of vampires came, but it suddenly occurred to me, what if the cast of Seinfeld were vampires?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even a big Seinfeld fan of the show, but for some reason, the idea of a bunch of vampires that are just like sort of having this, just sort of, whining and complaining and are sort of arguing with each other, felt funny to me. And I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen that many comedies with vampires. I know
Yes.
they exist,
Yes.
but I thought, well, maybe there's a way to do it, where, because I love comedy and I tend to be pretty strong at writing it. So I thought, well, maybe I can do that fast. So anyway, so I sat down and I wrote it in like a day and a little bit. And then I thought, okay, well, it sounds okay, but I can't send the first draft. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have time to rewrite it. So I sent it. And then I find out that it became a semi-finalist off of the first
Wow.
draft.
Yeah.
So then I thought, well, maybe there's something to it. So I should rewrite it. And so I rewrote it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Then I sent it to a few other places, and it got selected as like, semifinalist a couple more times, a
Mm-hmm.
finalist in the California Women's Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, we had another script, a feature called Loose, that also made it as a finalist in the feature category. So that was
Wow.
kind of cool. But anyway, but A New Leaf seems to be doing okay, and people seem to like it. So
Yeah.
I'm planning on shooting it. So I'm working on. I already got a budget for it. I'm gonna see how I can get that one done, because it's not looking as cheap as I thought it would be. So, yeah, so that's
Oh,
sort of, and I just like the idea of the you know, the argumentative vampires, I guess.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it is a great idea. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
And because we don't really get to see a whole lot of comedy about
Yeah.
vampires, you know, I just always think of who are the guys from New Zealand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
those, I know who
hilarious.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
blanking
hilarious.
on it's, what's, oh, those guys are hilarious.
Something in the dark, or what we do in the dark, or
Yeah.
they are hilarious. And that I
Yeah.
always think of them when I think of vampire comedy.
Uh,
But we need more of it, I think. More, because what it does is I feel like you're a new leaf is vampire, but it's different, right?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's different. And I
Yeah.
think that's why most people probably like it is
And,
because hey, it's different.
and the other thing that I think helped me write it fairly quickly is that I wrote it for specific actors in mind,
Hmm.
that I know I can get. Like, one is Dan again, who is going to die yet again in a film. He's the guy that in the script, his actual name is Daniel Link, so the
Hmm.
character is called Link. So I didn't
Hmm.
even I actually straight up just told people, look, can I use your names or variations of your names? And they're
Hmm.
like, sure. So the same girl that played Alma in Borderline is
Hmm.
Zira, who's the female vampire. My old friend, Abe Spigner, is Spig, like he is the other guy.
Uh-huh.
And he and Dan get along really well, and they have like a great on-screen chemistry. I've used them before.
Uh-huh.
So it's like the vampires were all written with specific people in mind. The only person that didn't have a specific person in mind was the lead, who's Abra, the girl. I'm hoping to now get Lori, who's the right age to do it, but I have a feeling that I may not be able to because her agent may not let her. So we'll see how it goes. But
Yes.
yeah, so I don't know, and it's written to their voices, so
Yeah.
I think maybe that somehow comes across a little bit. So
Yeah. Well, Kieran, what is next for you? I know you're working on these two projects,
yeah.
trying to get a feature and then a new leaf off its feet, on its feet. But other
Mhm.
than that, what else is going on?
Well, obviously the main thing is getting the feature done,
Hmm.
for Borderline, the feature. Outside of that, we're currently working on a couple of other scripts. Well, technically three, but we'll see. Dave has an idea for a short that he wants to do,
Hmm.
sort of a little. It's like a father-son story. I have another short that I'd like to do that's like a little superhero girl story.
Hmm.
We'll see if we can do those together.
Thank you for
Uh,
making your character a girl.
oh yeah,
I love
well,
it already.
yeah, it's well. Thank you. I'll send you the information. Maybe you know how we can get it done.
Okay.
We also have some feature ideas. I'm currently sort of outlining a an idea because I used to be a second assistant director
Hmm.
for a number of years, and then when the economy tanked, everything sort of ended, and I had to take a full-time job, and but I'm trying to get back on set.
Hmm.
And I thought there were so many crazy things that happened during my time on indie features as a
Hmm.
second AD that I just wrote them all down. And then I sent them to Dave, and he looked at them and he's like, we could put this, we can put it in a movie and just take like different things that happened here and sort of make one whole out of it.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm working on right now. It's a little egotistical, and I know that where the main character essentially is a version of me as a second AD.
Yeah.
But I'm fictionalizing it enough that hopefully that, but it's based on a lot of actual events. And so if you're thinking of comparing it to anything like an Almost Famous kind of
Okay. All
movie,
right.
but on a film set.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we also have, well, this other um, that that he'd like to do as well. And we have like a number of outlines and story ideas for things, so we're constantly striving to just keep writing and see what we have. And we have a number of scripts out there that are doing the rounds, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if one of these days, like something hits to the point that I can quit my day job and
Yeah.
and
As creatives, we're all
work on
always
that.
waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's not if, it's when. It'll happen.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
it'll
that.
happen. You're very talented. Will you be joining us in Paris?
As of now, the unfortunate reality seems to be that I can't.
I'm sad.
I would love. I'm still crossing my fingers on it because I know there's
Mhm.
still some time, so I don't want to rule it out,
Yeah.
100%. But the more that we get closer to it, like the more it seems like I can't. And I saw where it is. I know it's like 2 blocks away from the Arch of Triumph, from the Arc of Triumph. So it's like I would love to just do that walk.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, but it's looking like, and unfortunately, my I tried to get my producer to go instead of me since he's
Hmm.
in London, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, he can't make it either, and he's a lot closer than I am.
Yeah.
But and then my lead actor, who played Manny, Alex, apparently he's going to be in Paris. However, he's going to be there a week before, so he's missing
Oh.
it by like a week,
Yeah.
and because otherwise he would have gone. And I was like, and the lady that helped with the translation for the subtitles, she's
Hmm.
actually going to be in Paris around that time, but because she's going for a work thing, she may not be able to.
Yeah.
So it's all these like misses, and it's driving me nuts
Yes.
that we possibly won't have anyone there.
Yeah.
Now if something happens and for some reason and I am able to go, if it's a last minute thing, would I still be able to participate at that point? Because I know that space is limited, and they wanted people to sign up for certain things.
Mhm.
Is that still doable at the very
You know what?
least,
I
standing
think I
in the
know
back
some people.
somewhere?
I think I know some people that we could maybe make some things happen for you.
Okay, well, I'll
Um,
keep you posted.
Please, please
Yeah.
do. And I really want to thank you for letting us talk to you today and talking about a new leaf and then that script and then the short borderline. I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate your time. You're so talented.
Ah, well,
And
thank
we
you.
really look
Yeah.
forward to seeing more of your work as well.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you and Gautier, and hopefully everything, regardless of whether I can head over there or not. I hope the festival goes well, and everybody has
Yes,
a good time. And
yes.
and what was your name?
Mine,
Was it
mine, Danita. I'm
he told
Danita
me,
Williams
yes,
Trigg. Yes, Danita
Dan-
Williams Trigg.
Danita Williams.
Danita
Ah,
Williams Trigg.
well, it's a
Yes.
pleasure to meet you, Danita.
Oh, the pleasure's all
Yeah.
mine. Thank you for your time today. Have a good
Of
one.
course, thank you for giving it.
Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye bye.